You're the king? Well, I didn't vote for you.
I don't want to talk about it. Can I just go back to bed?
Look, you gotta talk about it because somebody's gotta pay rent this month.
Well, why don't you pay rent this month?
Because I spent all me money on avocados, you wanker! Now quit your belly aching and get in here and do your job. Ugh, Americans. Alright, fine. Stupid, lousy British... Hi, friends. Well, if you haven't seen my other video about why this game already sucks, go watch that. Activision Blizzard, you ruin everything I love. Nothing worth doing anymore except putting myself through the same pain and misery that you all have to live with. Alright, let's do this. On to the human campaign. Well, yep, you're saying the same thing I am. More CGI cinematics that haven't changed since the year 2002. You remember when Blizzard bothered to make really good animations and we all said they could make movies if they wanted to? Yeah, I guess that was just too much work for them to manage this go around. We find ourselves in session with Tyrannus, King of the Alliance. Obviously a human, because we couldn't give that to any of the weird, interesting races. But the Prophet shows up and pretty much tells them that they're already boned and their only hope is to escape to the lands of Kalimdor, which they all promptly ignore, much like they obviously ignored quality control on this project. And that ends the cinematic. Once we get into gameplay proper, we get to meet Arthas, Tyrannus' son, who's come to inform his mentor, Uther, of a group of orcs in the nearby mountains that are going to attack a village. Uther will deal with the main force of orcs while Arthas goes to fortify the city. He's got a big hammer, so it should be easy for him to hammer a bunch of nails to help reinforce those walls. Though the situation is dire, we have plenty of time for side quests, recruiting some soldiers from the nearby town, helping rescue a child who's been kidnapped by gnolls, retrieving a farmer's journal that are stolen by bandits. You know, typical thrilling heroics. Unfortunately, the orcs have already arrived and have started sacking the town. So Arthas is going to fix this problem with his hammer too. Just hit them harder, that'll fix it. Unfortunately, several people were captured by the orcs, so Arthas promises to retrieve them. Don't make promises you know you can't keep. Just like you, Activision Blizzard! Arthas eventually ends up joining Uther at his camp, and we can see he's filled with almost as much rage as I am. Uther is intent on diplomacy, so asks Arthas to try and scout around the local area, during which Arthas inadvertently discovers a group of dwarves that are on a dragon hunt. Well, I don't know if you can hit a dragon in the sky with a hammer, but I'm willing to try. Ha 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 ha! So we venture into the dragon's lair, slay it, bring back its heart, and we get a nice little aura out of it, which gives us a damage boost as well as some passive abilities whenever we attack stuff. Unfortunately, that whole diplomacy plan doesn't really work out when the orc leader who shows up proceeds to taunt us, turn out to be an illusion, while the actual orc leader slaughters all of the civilians en masse. Yeah, it's been that sort of a day. So we come in like a wrecking ball to dispense vengeance for all of the slain innocents. We cut over to the city of Dalaran, home of the Kirin Tor. Think Harry Potter's Hogwarts, but a lot more scary. And it's here that we can see the Archmage is talking to the Prophet, but also doesn't take him very seriously. So, once again, he has to leave. But we meet the Archmage's apprentice, Jaina Proudmoore, and he has a special task for her. We found out in the opening human cinematic that there's apparently a plague ravaging the Northlands. The Kirin Tor think it may be magical in origin, so he's sending Jaina to go investigate. And to provide her assistance, it seems Arthas is going to be accompanying her. Though it doesn't look like she needs much help as she manages to take out a bunch of ogres almost single-handedly with her magic. It's also pretty clear that the two of them have some sort of a connection, but I've long ago given up on the idea of love and happiness in this world, so I don't really care. And it's pretty clear that somebody doesn't want them to investigate since they've taken the bridge out. So we're gonna have to take the long way around. Along the way, we end up encountering a bunch of undead, which seem to be connected to a grain silo containing poisoned grain. Yeah, that doesn't bode well somehow. Alright lads, it's time to hit things with hammers. That's the only way to fix it. Ha 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 ha! Eventually, we collect some additional allies and find the source of the poison grain. The Cult of the Dam, led by Kel'Thuzad. So we destroy a grain warehouse, and then we are on the trail of Kel'Thuzad. So in the next level, we fight our way through even more undead and eventually confront him in the city of Anderhall, where all of the grain for most of the kingdom is distributed. He reveals that he's already sent out dozens of shipments of plagued grain, and the goal is to kill all of the people of Lordaeron with it, before running off twirling his mustache all the while. Yeah, Kel'Thuzad's not a nuanced villain, unfortunately. So we track him down, kill him, and he basically gives us the speech from Ghostbusters 2.
Death is but a door. Time is but a window. I'll be back.
So the bad guy's dead, but we reach the next town over and find out that there's a horde of undead wandering the land, and they're headed this way. Their only hope is for Jaina to teleport back and retrieve Uther and the rest of his paladins so they can stand a chance of fending them off. Unfortunately, after Jaina leaves, we find out that the villagers have been eating the poison grain, and that not only does the plague kill you, but that also brings you back as the undead. Yeah, kinda saw that coming, but it's still nonetheless a problem. So yeah, it's another holdout mission, not helped by the fact that if we don't deal with several caravans wandering around converting villagers into the undead, it's just gonna get even harder. And it's the fight of our lives. Hey Arthas, buddy, you wanna lend a hand there? Just saying. Fortunately, Jaina and Uther arrive with a whole bunch of paladins and knights and we're able to save the day. But it turns out that the true leader of the undead force is in the city of Strathholm and is named Mal'Ganis. Arthas, filled with rage and anger, decides to go slay Mal'Ganis to hopefully save the world. Once again, trying to fix the problem by hitting it repeatedly with a hammer. While leisurely walking to the city, Arthas ends up meeting up with the Prophet, who tries to warn him as well, but Arthas doesn't heed the warning, despite Jaina trying to reinforce the words of the Prophet to him. The only thing she succeeds in doing is accompanying him to the city. Again, at a leisurely walk. Okay, so we come to the part of the video where I get really angry and you can see why. On one side was the footage that we were shown for this level at BlizzCon. This was what we were expecting. This is what they showed us at BlizzCon. On the other side is what we actually got. Now I understand, things change in development, but frankly, this is a betrayal. When you gave us this as a teaser to get us all excited, gave us very little actual updates in between, and we're expecting it to look like the footage we saw at BlizzCon, the actual in-game cinematics for this incredibly dramatic scene are frankly insulting and disappointing. I want to play the game everyone was playing at BlizzCon, not the game I spent money on. This is disgusting. Alright, criticism over. What's going on? Well, Arthas has decided that the only hope is to kill everybody in the city since they're already infected and they're just a matter of time until they all turn into the undead. Uther, yeah, he's not going down with that plan. Neither is Jaina, leaving Arthas to do the slaughtering all by himself. And like that, I'm back to being angry. I don't know if you can see by this mini-map, but they severely overhauled this level from what it previously looked like. They clearly put effort into reworking this map because the original did not work. So far, I have yet to find any other map they bothered to put this much effort into anywhere else in the game. I don't know what happened between BlizzCon and now, but clearly somebody decided that nobody gave a shit. And here we meet Mal'Ganis, leader of the undead. I gotta say, he's okay. Somehow it's not quite as awesome and dramatic as it was in the original game, but it's Mal'Ganis. He's still the best villain for the human campaign. Sinister, commanding, and he has an amazing voice.
I will now turn this city household by household until the flame of life has been snuffed out forever.
I won't let that happen. I will help defend my people. I'll help defend them to death with my hammer! Ha 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 ha! I'm still the good guy. So you go through the hit city, smashing every house, trying to kill more undead than Mal'Ganis can raise in undeath. It's pretty cool. It was working great in the original game, and here it's even better. And once again, I'm back to being angry. Like they showed off at BlizzCon, some of the houses contain random encounters that you have to overcome. A necromancer and an abomination. Neither of which were in the original game mode in the original game. They even tweaked it so that when you kill Mal'Ganis, he drops treasure that you can pick up. So apparently you guys decided that you were gonna bother to put in some work improving the game on this one level and then just called it quits. I don't know why you didn't bother to put more effort into the rest of the game. Maybe it was because you fired 800 people despite record sales that year. Well, we managed to destroy hundreds of people's lives, you know, kind of like Activision Blizzard, and Arthas confronts Mal'Ganis, wanting to settle it mano a mano. However, Mal'Ganis tells him that the only way this is going to end is if he chases him all the way to the frozen land of Northrend. Arthas decides that if that's the only way he's going to hit this problem in the face hard enough to make it go away, that's what he's gonna do. We get to see the aftermath of Arthas destroying hundreds of people's lives. Jaina is confronted by Uther demanding to know where Arthas has taken himself and the fleet. She tells him where Arthas is gone. Uther tells Jaina that this is not her fault. After Uther leaves, the Prophet shows up and finally rolls a natural 20 on his diplomacy check, convincing Jaina their only hope is to take the humans and flee to the distant lands of Kelemdor, and that she's going to have to lead them. We catch up with Arthas in Northrend, and we start to get the sense that he's not doing so well.
This is a light-forsaken land, isn't it? You can barely even see the sun. This howling wind cuts to the bone, and you're not even shaking. My lord, are you all right?
Captain, are all my forces accounted for?
Yeah, 'cause that sounds like someone who's in perfect mental health. Just saying. Well, we go exploring trying to figure out if there's a place we can build a base here. And one bit of positive feedback I can give is I think they did a great job with the art design on even just the trees for here. It does a much better job of making it feel frozen and icy cold than the original trees ever did. Even if that's the only innovation we're going to see for a while here. As we're exploring, we get shot at by a bunch of dwarves. It turns out that Arthas' old friend Muradin Bronzebeard has come to Northrend for a special mission, which he'll tell us about if we help rescue the rest of his clansmen. So, okay, guess we'll go do the side quest before we can get back to the main quest, whatever. Once things have quieted down a little bit, we find out that Muradin is searching for a lost magic sword named Frostmourne that's supposed to be found somewhere around here. Unfortunately, he hasn't found anything except for undead, and we can't seem to find Mal'Ganis, so it looks like we're just gonna have to play the waiting game and try and figure out what to do next. Unfortunately, that's when an emissary from the mainland shows up to tell everybody that they've been recalled home. Arthas takes the news well.
Uther had my troops recalled. Damn it! If my warriors abandon me, I'll never defeat Mal'Ganis. The ships must be burned before the men reach the shore.
Hey, Arthas buddy, that's starting to sound like crazy talk. Just saying. Muradin tells us about a bunch of mercenary camps he knows in the area, so we're able to hire ourselves some mercenaries so we can fight our way through the undead and go around and destroy all of the ships while the humans cut their way through the nearby forest. Yeah, because when you destroy your only way of getting home, that's the thing a crazy person wouldn't do. That makes you totally sane, buddy. Prince Arthas, what happened to the ships? Those filthy brutes that I totally didn't hire, they sank the ships. Quickly, help me kill them! You monsters! Thanks, men. They were coming right at us. Ha 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 ha. Alright, our only way home is to kill Mal'Ganis. Ha 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 ha. But how does killing him help? I said the only way home is to kill Mal'Ganis, my precious. Ha ha ha. Now get back to your posts. Needless to say, Muradin does not take kindly to this since he hasn't gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs unlike Arthas. But Mal'Ganis showing up from out of nowhere with a ton of undead makes it sort of a moot point. Realizing this is a problem that can't be fixed by hitting it repeatedly with a hammer, Arthas and Muradin hope that by finding Frostmourne, the sword will give them the advantage they need. So, stepping through the discount Stargate, they enter the frozen tomb of Frostmourne. and eventually face its frozen guardian, who warns them to turn back. But Arthas is not going to be deterred, though it seems that maybe this is not what it appears at first glance.
Turn away before it's too late.
Still trying to protect the sword, are you?
No. Trying to protect you from it.
Well, that definitely does not bode well. So we finally find our way to Frostmourne, one of the most iconic swords in nerddom. Unfortunately, it turns out that while it's full of magical power, it's also cursed. Muradin insists that Arthas needs to not have anything to do with it, but Arthas is so driven by vengeance, he'll do whatever it takes to possess the sword, even if it means that it kills Uther in the process of possessing it. And yeah, once again, I'm a wee bit angry. Let's compare two pivotal moments from Arthas' character development in this same game. Does one look like maybe they spent a little bit more effort in making it look awesome than the other? I can't tell anymore, because all I'm seeing is red! Lord Arthas, thank goodness you've returned. My lord, are you alright? You don't seem to have pupils.
Don't worry, Captain. Everything's fine.
Ha 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 ha! Well, with Frostmourne in hand, we fight our way through the undead to Mal'Ganis. And in an effort to be even-handed, I do like the fact that orbs allow you to attack air units when you normally couldn't, like you can in Frozen Throne, rather than in Reign of Chaos. Which this game is supposed to be a, what were the words used? Reimagined and reworked from the ground up version of Reign of Chaos. Yeah, gag me with a silver spoon. Well, we finally get that climactic showdown between Arthas and Mal'Ganis. And it seems that this was their plan all along, as Frostmourne is meant to corrupt Arthas and turn him to the undead side. Unfortunately, Arthas has gone full Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs and decides to murder Mal'Ganis outright. Once again, I do appreciate the fact that we're willing to rework this scene to make it more awesome than it was originally, but once again, I'm a little sad that they didn't bother to do that for more than one or two cutscenes for this entire game when that was what we were promised. Ugh! You know what, I'm so angry, I'm just gonna reuse some of my old footage from my previous review because it's perfect. I don't need to improve it. Why would I bother improving it? Sometime later, Arthas is returned home with his victory over Mal'Ganis and tells his father of the good news. But there's something distinctly different about Arthas. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, though. I mean, it's like on the tip of my tongue. Did he maybe do something new with his hair? Oh, that's it. Arthas has decided that he's evil now. Great! Though you should never really trust anybody with that many skulls in their clothes. And with that, we round out the opening act of Warcraft 3 with Arthas' ominous warning that doom has arrived. And it did not bring enough pizza for everybody, so some of you will have to share. You know, in my first review, I did a whole, in-depth character analysis of Arthas' development throughout the story. But that sounds like something that requires effort and work, and I'm trying to follow an Activision Blizzard model, so why bother putting in effort? It's not like it's gonna be on the internet forever and people are gonna remember whether you did a good job or not. Okay, for real, trying to be a real reviewer here. I'm still really angry that this happened. I don't necessarily blame the programmers, or the coders, or the visual effects people. I get the feeling this was definitely a higher-up decision made by corporate types who decided that they weren't seeing the pre-sale numbers they were looking for, so why bother investing in a niche project? Just shove it out the door and we'll make as much cash as we can before people catch on. I'm not saying that anyone who works at Blizzard did anything wrong. This is a corporate decision. This is higher-ups screwing over the fans and the people who put their heart and soul into making this look good. Alright, now on to my thoughts about this revised version of the game. So, what do I think of the main game? I mean, it's Warcraft 3 with better graphics. The original game was addictive as hell and was an awesome game that was a lot of fun. This is just what, made to look better. The core gameplay is the same. The only reason I'm nearly as angry about the culling and some of the other improvements is I wanted to see more of that throughout the game. Not cherry-picked for 2 or 3 bits and then, well, we'll just slap a new coat of paint on the rest of it and go home. There was a real chance to make this game truly amazing and special. Redefine the genre again. But Blizzard apparently just decided that good enough was good enough. That's why I'm angry and so disappointed. I expected more from a project this ambitious, and it almost could have succeeded if they just didn't decide to stick the landing because it was too expensive to put more effort into it. One improvement from my old video I do want to show off is what makes the humans play differently from other factions. You can assign multiple workers to build the same structure, and it builds much faster than if you just assign one worker to it, at the cost of a little bit of extra gold and wood, but that can be a real important thing in a clutch moment, and it makes them play a little bit like anybody from Age of Empires. One other cool facet of their playstyle, if you're in a pinch, you can turn your workers into militiamen. They'll never be as good as an actual footman, but if you're being attacked at your base and you don't have anyone around, it beats nothing. And an interesting gameplay tweak from the original games. Okay, friends. In all seriousness, I apologize for getting as angry as I did. I promise I'll try and be calmer in the next video, but especially right here, I hope you can understand why I'm as disappointed and as frustrated as I am. And I hope I haven't turned you off of the next video, which is going to be all about the Undead campaign, and we get to see the follow-through of Arthas' heel turn. I hope to see you then. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I kind of owe somebody an apology and some extra avocados this month. After all, without friends helping you keep on track, it's not a good place to be sometimes. At any rate, see you all for the Undead campaign. Until next time.
Once you head down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. And you get dental.
Oi, friends! It's your buddy Thrall here! I know a good thing when I see it, being a Farseer and all, and if you're enjoying the content you're watching here, check out some of the other stuff made by Dyslexic Cosplayer. He does tutorial videos, he's also done classic sci-fi reviews, whatever those are, as well as other video games. He even makes his own movies! By the spirits, that's a lot of dedication! If you're interested in supporting him, check out his Facebook or Patreon page. Links are likely to be found somewhere in the runes down below. Alright, until next time, it's your friendly neighborhood Thrall here.